dust settles as the door creaks behind you to suffocate the noise outside. A dimly lit room greets you as you strain your eyes to make out empty shelves and cobweb-covered containers cluttering the countertop. Just as you begin to question why you came in here at all, a playful voice chirps. "Greetings and salutations, my newfound friends. I wholeheartedly welcome you to my humble market of wonders, where all your wishes are mine to fulfill. Now, whomst do I have the pleasure of engaging with in business on this fine day?" An eerie and concerningly pale smile seems to hang in the darkness before you, as a long and bony hand reaches forth from the shadows to grasp your own. From the shadiest of back-alley deals to the glitziest showrooms, there's no place of commerce the masked man has not made his presence known. A puzzle wrapped in an enigma, wrapped in a mystery, nobody can say with confidence where the masked man first began to immerse himself in business. But even his fellow Fae, with all their quirks and curiosities, steer clear of this individual.
Inspired by merchants with dark secrets and dealings, the Masked Man has been something we've had in mind for a long time. As a fan of similar purveyors of goods like the Happy Mask Salesman from The Legend of Zelda and the Merchant from Resident Evil, we wanted to come up with our own creepy salesman to potentially terrify your players.
The masked man is, first and foremost, a businessman. He holds himself to the highest standards of professionalism and servitude, doing his very best to satisfy the wants of his customers.
But doing business with the Masked Man is not without its risks. The odd bits and bubbles he carries with him can range from incredibly powerful to downright life-ruining, but you'll never know until the deal is done. With just a bit of wordplay and sleight of hand, the Masked Man can either better or ruin one's existence with a single sale.
There are few things players love more than recurring merchant, a familiar face with a reliable stock of items and potions to aid them on their adventures. The masked man can fit just that role in your campaign, depending on how much he likes your party. Within his rucksack, he carries all manners of things gathered across centuries of existence, making it highly likely that he will have something that a character desires.
However, the courtesy and niceties are reserved for business. Outside of that relationship, the Masked Man has no qualms in administering violence upon those that offend him in any way, and for those who cross that line, he unleashes a flurry of powerful magics that can overwhelm even the mightiest of heroes.
In combat, the masked man is a force to be reckoned with. Though he carries little more weaponry than a simple carving knife, the masked man is a force to be reckoned with. Armed with a variety of spells, such as Hold Person and Dominate Monster, the masked man can quickly turn the tides of battle in his favor, even when outnumbered.
The pale wooden masks that adorn his rucksack are the Masked Man's foremost tactic for controlling the flow of battle, as he throws them around to latch onto his enemies' faces. Once attached, each mask affects its wearer in a unique manner. For example, the Mask of Pain prevents its wearer from being healed or resurrected.
The Mask of Stupidity imposes disadvantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma ability checks and saving throws, while also muddling its wearer's speech.
And the Mask of Wrath causes its wearer to go berserk, forcing them to use their action to attack the creature closest to them on each of their turns.
With each passing turn, the masked man employs masks most fitting of their respective targets, disabling their strengths and turning them against their friends. The longer they remain under his command, the more dire things will get.
The rest of the Masked Man's magics are a variety of utility spells that enable him to evade direct confrontation and keep himself free of harm. With Dispel Magic, Invisibility, and more, it's difficult to pin this tricksy Fae down.
Altogether, the masked man is a great friend to have in your corner, but an even greater enemy to make.
As such, we recommend employing the Masked Man and his services as a beneficiary for your players, especially if you introduce him at earlier levels. He may take a shine to a new group of upcoming heroes, willing to give them some magical items far beyond their reach.
For a price, of course.
Nothing ever comes free from the Masked Man. Everything has a cost sooner or later. Once the party has established itself as a reliable band of capable adventurers, and not just another group of dreamers, maybe the Masked Man calls on a favor in exchange for past discounts or services rendered.
And if that doesn't work, there's always the threat of coercion. The masked man is more than willing to twist the terms in his favor when push comes to shove.
And if you'd rather not have such a powerful entity hanging over your campaign for an extended period of time, You can always just throw him in as a creepy shopkeep that deals in cursed items.
Having said that, we feel the Masked Man can be a useful NPC in a long-term campaign to drive your players along. As a millennia-old being, he would have a wealth of knowledge and connections to everybody, ranging from royal bloodlines to the high fae courts and beyond.
This would allow him to be a passageway for PCs to ask favors for, putting them in his deep, deep pockets.
And that's never a good place to be. Any creature as old as the Masked Man would not only have powerful friends, but powerful enemies. Asking the party for protection from an impending threat could either be payment on a loan or a mission for a potential reward that only he can deliver.
After all, his rucksack carries plenty more than just valuable magic items. All that whispering coming from within implies a veritable treasure trove of intel he collected over the years.
There are lots of avenues for the Masked Man to enter a campaign, and many ways in which he can help shape a story.
Especially so if your players are dealing with extra-planar threats and higher-level encounters. But even if you just feel like serving your players an eerie merchant encounter, the Masked Man could serve your needs well.
If you're racking your brain for items the Masked Man could sell your unwitting players, we've got a whole set dedicated to just that idea. Taking inspiration from classic movie monsters, we've compiled items that the merchant has collected across the years from similarly horrifying beings. But be sure to read the fine print.
However you choose to employ the Masked Man in your adventures, we hope you feel inspired to make use of our friend and potentially give your players a fright this year. If you have any ideas how to integrate him into your world, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you've got in mind with our creepy little fellow here.
If you'd like to see the rest of the Masked Man's wares, you can find them on our Instagram and Patreon, both of which are linked in the description below, alongside stats for the Masked Man himself. Patrons get access to high-resolution cards and PDFs of all our creations, and can vote on a special item or monster each month. Thank you once again for joining us, and we hope the Masked Man can serve your every need.